Welcome back everyone. Today we are diving into one of the most emotional and unforgettable moments ever seen on The Voice Kids 2023. A moment that stopped the room, turned the chairs, and touched millions of hearts around the world. This performance is not just about singing. It is about emotion, courage, vulnerability, and a child standing on one of the biggest stages in the world with a song that carries deep meaning. What you are about to relive is Emma performing Eminem's Mockingbird during the blind auditions, and trust me, this is one of those performances that stays with you long after the final note fades away. The stage lights are soft. The atmosphere is quiet but heavy with anticipation. Emma walks onto the stage with calm steps, but you can sense the nerves beneath the surface. She is young, but there is something in her presence that feels mature, almost beyond her years. This is not just another contestant hoping for a chair turn. This is a child carrying a story in her voice. The music begins gently. From the very first line, the room changes. Emma's voice is soft, controlled, and incredibly emotional. She does not try to overpower the song. Instead, she lets it breathe. Every word feels carefully placed, as if she truly understands what the song is about. That is what makes this performance so powerful. Mockingbird is a deeply personal song, and Emma approaches it with respect and sincerity rather than imitation. The coaches are sitting with their backs turned, listening closely. You can see their body language shift. One coach leans forward slightly, another closes their eyes. They are not just hearing a voice. They are feeling something. Emma's tone carries innocence and sadness at the same time, a combination that is rare and incredibly moving. Her voice cracks just enough to feel real, but never enough to lose control. As the song continues, the emotion builds naturally. Emma does not rush. She allows pauses to speak just as loudly as the notes themselves. This is where her performance truly shines. Silence becomes part of the music. The audience is completely still. No whispers, no movement. Everyone is locked into this moment. One of the coaches presses the button. The chair turns slowly. The look on the coach's face says everything. Surprise, admiration, and emotion all at once. But Emma does not look back. She stays focused, eyes forward, holding on to the story she is telling through her voice. That focus is remarkable for someone so young. Her control over dynamics is impressive. She knows when to pull back and when to let her voice rise slightly. She never shouts. She never oversins. Instead, she delivers each line with honesty. This is not about vocal tricks or showing off range. This is about connection. Another chair turns. The audience reacts, but quietly, almost respectfully, as if they do not want to break the spell. The coaches exchange glances, clearly impressed. They know they are witnessing something special. A performance like this does not come from technique alone. It comes from feeling. As Emma reaches the emotional core of the song, you can see her hands tremble slightly. Not from fear, but from emotion. Her voice carries a gentle ache that resonates deeply with anyone who has ever experienced family struggles, love, or loss.
You did amazing, buddy.
This is what
so
makes
proud of
Mockingbird such a powerful choice, and Emma delivers it in a way that feels authentic rather than rehearsed. The third chair turns. At this point, the energy in the room shifts completely. What started as a quiet audition has become a shared emotional experience. Even the camera cuts to the audience show people wiping away tears. Parents, children, everyone is feeling it. Emma's breathing remains steady. She stays grounded. She finishes the final lines softly, almost like a whisper, letting the emotion settle rather than forcing a dramatic ending. The music fades. For a brief moment, there is silence. Then the applause explodes. The audience rises to their feet. The coaches stand as well, clapping with genuine admiration. Emma finally allows herself a small smile, a mix of relief and disbelief. She did it. She told her story. She made people feel something. When the coaches speak, their words are filled with praise, but also respect. They do not treat her like just a kid. They acknowledge her as an artist. One coach talks about how rare it is to hear such emotional understanding at such a young age. Another mentions how brave it was to choose such a meaningful song and perform it with such honesty. Emma listens quietly, absorbing every word. She nods, eyes shining. This moment will stay with her forever. You can tell that music is not just a hobby for her. It is a way to express things she might not yet have words for. The decision moment arrives. Emma looks at the coaches, taking in the possibilities ahead of her. This is not just about choosing a mentor. It is about choosing someone who understands her voice, her emotion, and her journey. She makes her choice with confidence, and the coach welcomes her with open arms. As Emma walks off the stage, the audience continues to cheer. This audition will be remembered not because it was flashy, but because it was real. In a world full of loud performances, Emma reminded everyone of the power of softness and sincerity. This performance of Mockingbird on The Voice Kids 2023 is a perfect example of how music transcends age. It proves that emotion has no limit, and that even the youngest voices can carry the deepest stories. Emma did not just sing a song. She shared a piece of herself, and that is why this audition has touched millions around the world. If you felt something watching this performance, you are not alone. Moments like these are why music matters. They remind us that behind every song is a story, and sometimes, the smallest voices can tell the biggest truths. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more unforgettable moments like this. As Emma steps backstage, the energy from the performance still lingers in the air. You can almost feel how heavy yet beautiful that moment was. Performances like this do not end when the music stops. They continue to live in the minds of everyone who witnessed them. Backstage, Emma takes a deep breath. The nerves finally release, replaced by emotion and quiet pride. For a young artist, moments like this can shape an entire future. What makes this audition stand out even more is the song choice itself. Mockingbird is not an easy song to perform, especially for a child. It carries emotional weight, vulnerability, and a story rooted in real life. Many adults struggle to deliver it with honesty. Emma, however, approached it with sensitivity rather than imitation. She did not try to sound like Eminem. She made the song her own, transforming it into something softer, something more fragile, something deeply personal. The coaches continue talking about the performance long after Emma leaves the stage. One of them mentions how rare it is to hear silence used so effectively in a blind audition. Another points out how Emma trusted the song enough not to fill every space with sound. That trust shows maturity beyond her age. This is not something that can be taught easily. It comes from instinct and emotional awareness. Back in the audience, parents hold their children a little closer. Some are smiling, others are wiping tears. This is the power of music when it is delivered honestly. It reminds people of their own stories, their own families, their own struggles and hopes. Emma's performance opened that door for everyone in the room. As clips of the audition begin spreading online, the reaction is immediate. Viewers from around the world comment on how moved they feel. Many say they did not expect such depth from a Voice Kids audition. Others talk about how Emma's voice gave them chills, or how they had to replay the performance multiple times just to fully absorb it. This is how you know a performance has reached beyond the stage. People begin analyzing her vocal control, her tone, her phrasing. But what stands out the most in every reaction is the emotion. Again and again, viewers mention how real it felt. Not perfect, not polished in a mechanical way, but human. That authenticity is what separates memorable performances from forgettable ones. Emma's journey on The Voice Kids is only beginning, but this audition has already set a strong foundation. It tells the coaches, the audience, and the world that she is not just a singer. She is a storyteller. And storytelling is at the heart of every great artist. As the competition moves forward, expectations naturally rise. But Emma carries something more valuable than expectations. She carries trust in herself. She knows that she does not need to be loud to be heard, or dramatic to be powerful. She has learned, even at a young age, that honesty in music can be enough. Moments like this remind us why blind auditions exist in the first place. Before the lights, before the fame, before the pressure, there is just a voice and a story. Emma stood on that stage with nothing but both, and it was enough to turn chairs, hearts, and minds. Looking back at this audition, it becomes clear why it continues to resonate. It is not about competition. It is about connection. It is about a young girl brave enough to stand in silence and let her voice speak for her. That kind of courage deserves to be celebrated. As viewers, we often look for big moments, powerful notes, and dramatic endings. But sometimes, the quiet moments leave the deepest impact. Emma's performance is a reminder that music does not always need to shout to be heard. Sometimes, it just needs to be true. And that is why this audition will remain one of the most emotional highlights of The Voice Kids 2023. Not because of spectacle, but because of sincerity. Not because of perfection, but because of heart. If you felt moved by this performance, remember this feeling. Remember how music can connect strangers, how it can bring silence to a room, and how even the smallest voice can carry the biggest emotion. This is not the end of Emma's story. It is only the beginning.